Hey guys, so today we're gonna be looking over two leaks. I love the leaks. I love talking about them and just speculating. I love speculating. I know again these are leaks. Take them with a grain of salt. Don't take them seriously. But let's get into it. We have the Shadowlands, or not the Shadowlands, just Shadowlands and Age of Darkness. Let's start with Shadowlands because I heard Age of Darkness is awful. But we'll get to it. So I'm just gonna. This person summarized it. So thank you to this person from Hallowed Souls on your respected realm. So 4chan did it again. Okay, we're just gonna go into it. 4chan. Enough said. Thanks, guys. I'll see you later. No, Shadowlands. So 2 new continents: Dragon Isles and Shadowlands. Okay, so and they had a map for this. Hang on. So they had a leaked map. CC raid, and you can see there's Morbara, Azeros, which I believe is Greek mythology. Like, this is very Hades-esque, and we don't really have a... We have Norse mythology, we have Egyptian in-game, we have some Roman, not a lot. So it would be good to see some more of this. The Alnir Rift Lands, Darkfront, Eternal Onslaught, Journey's End. So, like, this is Shadowlands, of course. This is for... I guess this would be, depending on Nyalotha, which is cool. I guess it's what happens, the ramifications of the ending of the expansion, which apparently it's looking like N'Zoth is going to be the last boss. Which, again, depending on how you feel about that, I think they should have kept N'Zoth for his own expansion. Perhaps they will. Perhaps we're going to deal with the Horde Alliance thing. Then we're going to move into N'Zoth, which is what I think they should do. But BFA lore has been not great so far anyway, so I'm not expecting much. But I remember seeing, before we continue, I remember seeing a clip of Ian Hayakosa talking about when he would go see his, I think his Yaya, his grandmother in Zeros. Is it grandmother or grandfather? I don't know. Not a big gun Greek. But... It's cool that that's there, because it would make sense, because it'd be inspired by perhaps Hades, or perhaps even Cerberus would be in there, which I would absolutely like to think. I guess I can. Let's just pause the music. My bad. New class: Tinkerer DPS with turret bombs and Ghostbuster gimmicks. We're not gonna let this die, are we? We're not going to let it die, are we? Is the Murlocs as playable race? Anyway. Healer takes specs, uses male armor, which if they made a new armor class, they should use male armor, because there's not a lot of that in the game. Primary stat is intellect. That's weird. I guess it all depends. Primary stat is intellect for all of the specs. It'd be weird for them to do that. Vicious power. Level squish postponed. No world revamp. New scaling tech will do that anyway with frequent item levels, stat squishing. I really hate level scaling. I really hate that system. I think it really ruins new expansions. Specifically, I think that there should be an end zone. There should be a... Anyway, that's for a whole different discussion. Raid tier sets are not returning, but there will be class-specific challenge sets. Champion system will reunite for the spirits of fallen heroes. Uther, which would kind of coincide with his tomb being revamped. I always wondered why they did that. I was always thinking Anduin was going to become a super powerful paladin there. Karen, Vol'jin, Varian, Sarfang, Ronin, etc. But also certain villains. The old gods are not dead. They are sleeping in Nyalotha. Well, we know that. N'Zoth has been redirecting souls to fuel the old god's ascension back into the world. The Black Empire will rise very soon. This is what Azara saw when she died. And it just talking about that, it was cool when they made a red herring with Illyria. Illyria said, I feel like I already died twice. And then in Nazjatar, we go to that statue. It's like she already lost her people twice. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then we find out that it turns out it was Azara who died the third time. Forces of Death, aka Death's Vanguard. Elune, Helia, others are working together to fight the Void incursion into the Shadowlands. Bolvar brings us there. Sylvanas has been honoring a pact, waging war in Helia's name. Elune's Night Warriors are also Night Warrior also transport the souls of its victims to the Shadowlands. Alliance has inadvertently helped the war against the old gods in the Shadowlands. They'll be reunited with all of the casualties almost. Bonsamdi is working for Hakar, the soul flare who seeks power for himself, also by consuming souls. Sounds a little bit better. Like the main thing is that BFA has to mean something. You know, like even we couldn't have WoD without it meaning something to the story. And I always looked at BFA as a book in a series of books, where they want more expansions now, they said, to feel more like chapters in a single book. Which, not much of a difference to some people, but there is a big difference. I don't think we're going to get an ending like Legion. I think it's just going to flow right into... So, how can I say this? Like Lord of the Rings, I suppose. Like Lord of the Rings was... It had endings, but there were sort of just down times in the story leading into the next movie and then the next movie. Where it's... I can't believe I'm going to use this. I think Harry Potter... I've only watched like 3 of those movies, but it seems like they teased some stuff for the next movies, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm not a big Harry Potter guy, but I think that's more of books in a series ending, whereas how it feels. So I feel like we're gonna get more Lord of the Rings types endings and not Harry Potter endings, which, depending on what you like, I like the endings. But I just don't think we're going to get a satisfying ending in BFA. Anyway. Old Gods. The Voids exploited the defeat of Argus to gain access to the Shadowlands. Zalatoth may have sold us out. Okay, but doesn't she hate the Old Gods? I mean, if anything, it seems like Zalatoth, spending all that time trapped in a blade, would want to at least do some good, or at least some damage. I don't know. Nyalotha is threatened by the advance of Death's forces. N'Zoth instigated the battle for Azeroth to cause death and consume more souls. Sylvanas propagated the world to usher souls towards Helya instead of Nyalotha. Which I guess it's possible that Sylvanas saw, like, she was shown by Helya what is going to happen. And so Sylvanas had to do what she had to, whatever, to give. But it doesn't make sense. There's nothing in the story that points towards... Yeah, it points towards a pact. But she didn't tell anybody. I mean, Sylvanas has always been kind of a lone wolf, but she didn't tell any of her generals. She didn't tell any of the other leaders. She'd rather have them cause a civil war. Why? Because she can cause more death and destruction. It doesn't make her a good guy in any sense. It makes her a bad guy. No matter how you try and cut it. And I really hope she kind of dies, because honestly, we just can't have stuff like that happen anymore. So, Darkfront. So, starting point for Shadowlands, 3 mirror faction. Night Elves, Death Knights, Helya, Sylvanas. Helya is now kinder and prettier. Main goal is to prevent Nyalotha from consuming the souls of the fallen. Huge rivers of souls run through each zone, like the... what is the River of Souls called? Like, I guess River Styx. The Hades River, Morbara. All the blood trolls were killed in Azmira here. Bonsamdi has been roped into working for Hakar the Soul Flare. We helped him overthrow Hakar and reclaim his title as the Loa of Death. The Alnir Riftlands. Oh, so this is this. Okay. A crucible for the primordial energies that comprise the fabric of all realities. With portal each one, everything is spilling out in and out of rifts. Source of void incursion and Dragon Isles and Emerald. I don't think they're gonna do Emerald or the Dragon Isles with Shadowlands. I mean, I have to talk about the dragons in another video, but there is too much dragon lore to put them in here. Unless we get another BFA situation, then I just don't want them to do it again. I want the dragons to have their own expansion. Again, Anduin was seen in the embassy. He's probably not going to make it in this expansion. We were supposed to be at 112, be able to see Wrathion. We didn't see him at 112. We didn't get to do anything with the dragons. I think that they keep putting the dragons on the back burner because they need to do something bigger with them. Like, you have the Earth Warders, you have a faction of black dragons that are attempting to reclaim their place either in the Dragonflight or as supreme rulers of the Dragonflight. We don't know. All we know is that the Earth Warders are hostile to us, and we don't know if they're loyal to Deathwing or if they just want to show the world that they're not corruptible. It's hard to say, but that's a video for another time. So Zeros, a semi-powerful zone where spirits go to rest according to lore. Main city and sanctuary is here. Lots of quest lines and 2 dungeons. Greek-inspired a la Hades front yard. Ethereals have a big presence here. Likely be 9 dungeons at launch, 5 in the Shadowlands, 4 in the Dragon Isles. No name for them yet. Dragon Isles, don't know much, but it has void dragons. We help rebuild the Black Dragon Flight. Storylines for each dragon aspect. Black Dragon Flight is in a chaos right now. You have Ebonhorn, who wants nothing to do with the dragon flights. He's more attuned to High Mountain. The only reason we got him to empower our chest, or our neck, is because he was the only black dragon we can find. Wrathion is looking for the Dragon Isles. We don't know why he wants it. He doesn't. And we know that there's another faction of black dragons out there that work for the Earth Warders. Earth Warders. It's a faction. We know that. That's in game. So we don't have to help rebuild anything. Like, we do have to help fight for supremacy of the Black Dragon Flight, depending on who we want to rule it. Either Wrathion, this new other Earth Warders, or I don't see Ebonhorn being a big contender for leader. He really hasn't done anything for Black Dragons. He's been in High Mountain for how long? You know? For at least 30. How old's the Rune Totem woman? So at least all of her life. And he's want nothing to do with the Black Dragon Flight. Rathion's the only one who wants it, and we don't know why. So this leak has some... It's hard with leaks. It has some things to stand on, other things are starting to kind of fall off. I like the idea of it. It sounds really cool. I don't... It'd be cool. Like, I'm not gonna say it's a bad expansion. Shadowlands would be amazing, but not Shadowlands and Dragon Isles. I don't want them both. I want one or the other. Pick, Blizzard. I want some dragon stuff thrown in there. Sure, absolutely. I want the dragons to be kind of built up and fully fledged out. That's the one thing I don't like about N'Zoth and BFA, is I wanted him to be released at the start of the expansion. But it's cool that he's released this midway, and perhaps they thought they couldn't do much with the Horde and Alliance War, which again is a shame, because the Horde and Alliance War needed so much more lore. Like, breaking Bane out of prison. I would have liked to have seen the Alliance do some shady stuff as well, but it seems like they've kind of always been put on the defensive. So it would have been cool to see, but that's BFA. We're getting it split down the middle, and it doesn't feel good. I know some people like it. I don't. I'd prefer a more fledged out story. Here's it from another angle. Oh no, it's just zoomed in. Okay. Anyway, that's this one. Now let's look at this other one, Age of Darkness. I left this one for last because this is the one I'm gonna rip to pieces. Because I did read this one before, and it's okay. Let's just go through it. So the Age of Darkness is what the expansion leak is called. Level squish is 50, a new 60 item level cap. Okay, so here, vanilla 1 to 20. I could see it going from 60, then up to 70. That way it's like 1 to 30. I don't think vanilla and 20 levels is good. But again, here's the Tinker class yet again. Gnomes, mecha gnomes, goblins, guild goblins. See, like, I was hoping that they would put another allied race in for 9.0. Okay, N'Zoth unleashes darkness over Azeroth as foreshadowed in the Nighthold raid encounter with Star Augur Aristus. Is that how you say his name? Oh, Eterus. My bad. Starting point on the attack is on Thunder Bluff Raid, where he interrupts the Horde and Alliance forces in the final battle. Kalmandor is his first goal as this strives to revive one of our oldest foes, Cthulhu and Silithus. Which kind of makes sense. Apparently there was data mine or something back then that there was, or a rumor that Silithus and Ankiraj were supposed to be revamped. Some people sent into a dungeon. Again, some leaks, no matter how old, kind of have merit to them. It's weird. To this, he's going to seek and destroy the Bronze Dragonflight and turn Nor's Dormu into Murozond, so he can alter the timeline where Cthulhu doesn't get defeated in the Battle of Ankiraj and is lost by Horde Alliance and consequences. Okay, but I thought at least all the timelines were tethered to Deathwing's death, and it couldn't be altered before that. But of course, it is Catalor, and is that right? He said every timeline led to Deathwing's defeat. That's all I know. Every single timeline, Deathwing died, and I thought that's so they couldn't go back and bring him back. So of course they can always go back on that, and maybe I'm understanding that wrong. It's possible. No real Dragon Force yet, but Bronze and Infinite play a major role. That seems more like the expansion I want to play. Xolotl will play a major role as the main antagonist of the Old Gods, some kind of evil neutral. She commands us to captive and imprison Sylvanas instead of killing her because we need her. Sylvanas will never find herself in a position where she surrenders or where she gets captured. They already said that. They already said Sylvanas isn't going to get captured. She's either going to die or she's going to win. It's one of those two. Partial old revamp. Only unlocks after finishing the pre-quest Age of Darkness. Yes. Kalimdor. So Ungoro, Feralis, Destalace, and Mulgore are new high-level zones. Silithus would be the endgame of King of Suramar. I don't like this. I'd like new zones, please. Not revamped. I wouldn't mind the world revamped, but for low levels and stuff. I would like new zones, please. Eastern Kingdoms revamped later with some special plan for Gilneas, Terrasfall, and Plaguelands. I would like Gilneas. Some special plan for Gilneas. Terrasfall, I guess, kind of needs to be rebuilt. Would be nice. Plaguelands would be cool to see it be a little bit more purified, but yeah, who knows. So, new feature. Apologies, it's 5 a.m. Unlocked at level 50. Every class gets several new skills and traits, similar to the glyph system we once had. Maybe okay, as long as they don't go overboard with it like they did with glyphs. I remember some glyphs are just crazy, like Feral Druid always having Savage Roar on, but it operates at like 20% less effective. I think glyphs like that were bad for the game. They were obviously bad for Feral Druids, because look at Feral Druids now. Reshaping the talent system, offensive and defensive talents per bracket. Would be cool to have more choice. Conquest points, I mean, we already have that for PvP. More execute damage, higher run speed. I don't know if I like that. Okay. Release planned for quarter 2020, but they want a policy expansion, so it might get delayed. No. They would not survive if they pushed it back to 2021. They would not survive. It'd be the worst thing in there that they could do to delay an expansion past quarter 4 of 2020. Okay? I think it's safe to assume that August is the release date. Okay, anyway. Heritage Armor will introduce new armor and new models. Well, we know we're getting Heritage Armor for Worgen Goblins and new updated models. We'll deal mostly with the factions in the aftermath of the events of the Eternal Palace. So, final patch 3.8 set in Mulgore, centered around Sylvanas' plan to attack Thunder Bluff. Mulgore will be turned into a new max level zone, similar to Mechagon, with ongoing progress, culminating to the attack on Thunder Bluff. It would be cool to set up defenses every week. Like, you just contribute, setting up sort of like a cross between Vol'jin's Rebellion and the Tournament Grounds. So, maybe something in between those two. Sylvanas is the final boss of the expansion, with Nathanos aiding her. Nathanos will be killed. Sylvanas will be severely wounded, captured, and imprisoned by her sisters. Not going to happen. So we know that's BS. At least Blizzard said it's not going to happen. They could go back on their word. Shortly before the fight is over, Nazas minions enter the battlefield and fight Sylvanas and us, and everything turns dark. No schedule for the patches yet, as everything during BFA took longer than expected. The plan for 8.3 is to be released this year, yet it might not happen. Now, Mecha Gnomes and Gil Goblins will be the last pair of allied races coming in 8.3.5. I guess like the guild I don't know what I guess they're not gonna be called guild goblins, but that's what you can show them as. I always thought Volpera would make more sense for the Horde other than guild goblins. I mean, you have the faction of Nazjatar, but if that faction Nazjatar joins the Horde, why doesn't the Ankoan join the Alliance? You know, you're kind of getting Volpera are already established, but I guess there's no really faction you can get exalted with and do world quests for 3 weeks for. Same with at least Mechanomes, you know, all I have to do is be exalted with the Rust Bolt Resistance. That makes sense. And I'm not saying Guild Goblins isn't possible. I'm just saying it's weird that Guild Goblins, I guess the Ankoan can just say, yeah, we're going back to the sea, have fun, fam. Factions won't merge, get removed. There's some kind of neutrality and interfactional group play, communication enabled. I mean, we already have that with the Flasks. I don't think that they're going to get rid of factions. They're always going to need factions. They're always going to need a faction. Even if we're in peaceful times, you can still use Battlegrounds as lore-wise as a training ground. I think Halo 5 did this with Red versus Blue. Does this sound better than most of the leaks? No. More likely to happen to you? No. At least think it's one of the better, if more credible leaks. I know. This doesn't sound good. The first one that I did sounded awesome. I don't expect way too much out of the first leak that I read, but some of the stuff sounded awesome. A new Mage Tower appearance. And I was just thinking, too, like, BFA had the perfect opportunity for a Mage Tower. You just defeated a Horde General for your Alliance or an Alliance General for your Horde. They said they would add it if it made sense. It made total sense of BFA, but, you know, they didn't have time, I guess. So this one, I don't, like, Age of Darkness doesn't sound as appealing to me as the Shadowlands. But even still, there's some things in Shadowlands where I'm just like, eh. Like, even just the Spirit of Fallen Heroes, just let them rest. Like, I'd rather have new, interesting characters out of the story. That's the one thing I was weirded out by with Vol'jin coming back. I was like, it makes sense to the story, and I guess they felt bad because they killed him and everyone complained. Rightfully so, because, you know, Vol'jin wasn't War Chief long. But, anyway, that's the leaks. Let me know what you guys think. Which one did you like more? Shadowlands, Age of Darkness? Do you think any of them have anything credible in them? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later.